Applicable to Mendocino. Mendocino, being in the coastal zone, has to be a part of the local coastal update process and the Mendocino town plan process, so this would not have any effect in that area. Yeah.
Okay. I'll open it up to the public then for public comment on this issue. Again, this is amendments to definitions, etc., and action item 1.2 of the general plan housing element. So, seeing no one rush to the podium. Oh, there is one. I knew she'd come up here.
Lisa Hilligas, Managing Attorney for Legal Services of Northern California. Just a very brief comment. One is that this is about the least amount that could be done for this commercial zoning to allow multifamily by right. And the idea being that this was the most simple way to do it to avoid any environmental review. The only caveat which I'd like to just make very clear for the record is that to only allow 4 affordable units for any commercially zoned parcel, is hardly anything. And to be able to make units affordable, to build only 4 makes it very difficult to maintain any affordability for a project. So I just want you to keep that in mind, and perhaps in the near future, possibly look at and explore the options of increasing the densities that would be permitted on these commercially zoned properties. That I think might be able to be done when you're doing your mixed use assessment, adding that in. It will require more resources from the planning team to do so, and doing a CEQA analysis, of course, does take time and money, but I believe if we really want to get some easy, affordable units, easily more affordable, developed, these densities are not going to manage that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Other members of the public wishing to speak to this item? Okay, seeing no one come forward, I'll close the public comment period of the public hearing and bring it back to the staff for any additional comments.
I just have one one comment, and that is that we do not prohibit greater densities with these changes. What it does require is a use permit. So the process itself would be a little different, but affordable units or any other multifamily units could be expanded in scope under the use permit process. So, and that was the planning commissioners had asked specifically about that too. So
good. Thank you. Okay, to the board, questions of the staff presentation or Ms. Hilligas' public comment? Seeing none at this time, then I'll close the public hearing and bring this item back to the board for action. What's the action of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to recommend the recommended action.
Okay. There is a motion before us by Supervisor Pinches. Do I hear a second? There is a second by Supervisor Colfax. Discussion to the motion? Hearing and seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. 5-0 vote, and unanimously passes. Thank you very much. We'll be moving to a timed item at 9:15. I do want to make one announcement. This meeting is the first meeting being televised under the new television equipment. Hopefully it'll be vastly improved for the viewing public and their pleasure. Certainly will be a more clear presentation on the screen. So this is a continuation of Supervisor Smith and myself, I believe, now almost 4 years ago, improvement of taking the meetings to the public. So just want to make that comment. Okay, item 6D, this timed item for 9:15 a.m. Discussion possible action on follow-up report and proposed actions for the Mendocino County 08-09 final budget. To the CEO's office.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will start off with a few opening comments and then turn time off to the executive office staff and the auditor controller to fill in any areas that I might have missed. Our goal here today is, as we concluded final budget hearings, your board had asked for a number of items to be returned to discuss further. That was the original premise we had scheduled this December 9th meeting for. In the meantime, the rapidly declining state of the economy has heightened some concerns of our office, and I know of board members also, relating to the deteriorating financial capabilities, loss of revenues, and the nature of what's going on at the state level. As we speak, the state legislature met again yesterday in special session. This is the third special session, I think, this year, unprecedented in history. Still have no real solutions in sight. I don't know how the governor's going to get a January budget out when he can't even get through the current year, but that's going to be a challenge for all of us, I think, next year. So what we've given you in a board packet here explains a number of these issues. It has been posted on the county's website under the CEO's department heading, all of the backup materials for today's presentation. Some of the things that are not included, I'll start off with today in this presentation, just so as we have the discussion that we don't get sidetracked. We are going to be talking next week on the 16th, our final board meeting of the year. We have a proposal that's coming forward on some solid waste privatization issues from one of our partners up in Willits, and we'll be discussing some of that proposal. It's not quite fleshed out yet, so we can't share that with you today. Under the Water Agency Director's Report next week, we will be talking about the status of some of the work we've been doing, looking at whether the agency has the appropriate staffing for the work that they're tasked with doing, what their revenues are, and so forth. We also will have a proposal for you relating to the use of contingencies for a couple of water projects that we know your board has been interested in. And finally, we have an ongoing project for the animal shelter in Fort Bragg, where we are still negotiating with a potential contractor on the coast, and we have not brought that project to conclusion yet, and may have some further information for you in the next few weeks. So as we go about here today, we've not given you hard and fast recommendations at the end of our presentation here today, because many of the issues that we're going to be talking about today are issues that are involved with meet and confer with our labor groups. Our goal here today is to take questions from your board